Chris Richards, welcome to Work Life. I'm so glad you could join us today.
Thanks for having me, Eric. Really appreciate it. And looking forward to today's interview.
Oh, I'm really glad you're here. You know, one of the reasons that I started this show is I love to sort of dig underneath the covers a little bit, understand what really makes people tick. And underneath a lot of that is mindset. And I know that's an area of specialization for you where you focus a lot of your efforts. Obviously, it's right there in your name title. And so I'd love just to kick things off here today by giving you an opportunity just to give the audience a little bit of an abbreviated background. So, you know, from sort of childhood to where you are now, how did you become a mindset coach? You know, usually people want to go play football or be a policeman or, you know, a parliamentarian. What got you into the business of being a mindset coach?
Well, okay, let's. I want to make it as concise as possible. I did actually want to be a policeman. And
did you?
Yeah. So I left school. I went to college, which is not university, which is your college, but our college, after school. Joined the army when I was 16 years old. I was in the army for 15 years. Within there, I was both artillery, and then I moved over into the military police, where I spent a good 12 years doing that. Specialized in criminal intelligence, IT, project leadership, project management and leadership, all of that good stuff. So lots of strings to the bow. Left that, went into corporate management, project management, and then corporate management and leadership. And then started to build up the side hustle. I was introduced to entrepreneurship. I hadn't had much touch on that.
Everybody's favorite E word, right? Entrepreneurship. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. So from there, I built up. I did a quick Amazon business. I think I was investing in events. One of them was with Les Brown in London. Went into coaching, added hypnotherapy, hypnosis, lots of different therapy techniques, somatic healing, alignment, attunement. And I've just been kind of adding to the toolbox ever since.
So those are pretty specialized, right? So what got you interested in those particular tools and techniques as a way to help people? So you're an executive coach, right? You help people sort of in the business workplace sort of fix or improve their mindset. Is that a good way to frame it?
Yeah. So it's really about helping people to become better leaders and helping them to achieve more than they could before. Okay. Because if the way I see it, you really achieve what you are. And if you deep down have a sense of worthiness or an identity piece that is set at a lower level than what you're striving for, then that's when you usually see self-sabotage come in. You usually see perfectionism, procrastination, all these different things. Lots of negative self-talk when it comes to leadership and worrying what people... internet's jumping around a little bit.
Oh, you're good on this side.
Okay, good stuff. So worried about earning the respect of your team and keeping the respect of your team, and being so caught up with that you're not making the clear decisions and you're not standing out as a true leader because you're so concerned with being seen as a leader. And all these different kind of mindset blocks, I guess would be the only way to describe it. And I step in, I jiggle some things around, recalibrate some things, raise the identity level, and away they go. They can achieve pretty much whatever they want once they have that in place.
What is interesting to me about this, I just watched this documentary. I don't know if it's available over in the UK, but it's called Fake Famous. It's on HBO. And it was a documentary about all of these influencers and what they're really doing to sort of build up their brands, build up their, quote unquote influence. And so much of it for many is fake. It's fake followers, it's fake pictures, it's fake, destinations where they're going.
Yeah.
And I know too that in the professional world, there's also this fear, this imposter syndrome, where people maybe are in a place of responsibility, but they don't really feel worthy of it, or they question whether they have the skills or the abilities. And so I'm guessing that these are the kind of things that you really can dig into as a mindset coach to really help people understand what's going on inside their head.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you hit the nail on the head there, but also, as you say, that fakeness, the feeling of being an imposter, the feeling of being a fake, that can come around just from a very natural place where the person is going out to help others and to be a leader, and encouraging their team members and their clients to be confident and not allow the thoughts to get them down, or whatever it is, right? And then the background, they're guilt-ridden because they're spending their time in the business thinking about how they should spend time with the family, and spending time with the family while still thinking about business. So they're not really present, and they've got all this kind of guilt and stress and problems whilst also helping other people. But they are genuinely helping other people, but it doesn't stop them having that imposter, that fake feeling like oh, I'm misleading them. And the danger there is that they can get into a sense of thinking where they think it's only a matter of time before someone discovers that I shouldn't have the success I have, I shouldn't have the position I have, I shouldn't be a leader, and all these different stories start coming out. And as I say, it's all around the identity. And I was actually in another interview earlier today, and they said, what's the one main thing that holds people back with everything? And it's worthiness. Everything else is just layers on top of it. It's perfectionism, and these are the ways that it's shown. But deep down, it's really about who you are and who you believe you are, and whether you believe you're worthy of the things that you have, and how much you feel like you need to fake and be something in order to be seen as something.
I love that, because there's been a lot of focus, I think, especially over the past couple of years, about gratitude, being thankful for what you already have, what you've already achieved. I think that is a very similar kind of concept to what you're talking about with worthiness, maybe in some sense. And it's also this idea of not really focusing so much attention on what other people think, right? It's understanding that you are worthy, you have the skills and abilities. It doesn't really matter what other people think you've got.
Right, you are. And it's interesting that you should bring up the other point about this whole what was the other point? Oh my god, I've just had a brain fart. Being seen
Gratitude.
as such, and gratitude. Thank you. That was an important bit. Thank you very much.
Well, you're grateful. You should be grateful I remembered it. So there we go, right there.
We can both be grateful together.
There you go.
So this gratitude is pressed hard into people, and it's saying that you should always be grateful. And the difficulty is that although, yes, there is an inner sense of appreciation and contentment that you can build, a lot of people kind of tell people that they should be grateful. And the difficulty there is that when you receive that and you're not in a good place of worthiness, that you're not in a good place, could be stress, could be life is just getting to you in that particular moment, and you're told to be grateful, then what it can do is it can kind of gaslight what you're going through. Sure. To say, and you start to get, people start to get these ideas of like, I shouldn't feel bad about my situation because someone else has it way worse. I have to be grateful for my situation. And although there's merit to every argument where it's, there's merit to seeing the opportunity within challenge. Absolutely. Seeing your stress as a means of growth. Absolutely. But at the same time, to discount acknowledging when you feel sad, when you have negative emotion, is just another method. And it's why I see a lot of people using gratitude to actually repress, and I will use that word, repress these negative emotions and these negative beliefs in the hope that they go away by whitewashing gratitude over them.
I see exactly what you mean there. Yeah, you can focus too much on that as a way of just sort of distracting yourself from maybe some other realities, but not ultimately accepting what those realities are.
That's it. Well, as I always say, the opposite of crazy is still crazy. Like trying to move as far away from negative emotion as humanly possible by blocking out the negative is only going to end you up in even thicker waters and problems.
I believe that.
It's all about balance. It's all about
Yeah.
balance, and being able to adapt and have that flexibility to feel the negative, move yourself into the positive, if it's right to do so. Sometimes I actually encourage people to do something called intentional wallowing, where you just sit and wallow in the negative emotion, because emotion has a half-life. If you really allow it and open up and let it go through, the fear is that I'll be stuck in this negative emotion. But the truth is, the brain doesn't work like that. If you actually allow it to go through, you physically can't feel sad anymore. It's just impossible. The brain acclimatizes to the sadness, and so it doesn't feel it as much.
Well, that's the whole concept, really, I think, behind things like journaling, right? Is sometimes when you get it down on paper or virtually, however you do it, it takes a little bit of the bite out of it. You've gotten a chance to sort of reflect that, put that out there into the universe,
Absolutely.
even if you never read it again. But now you've had an opportunity to express it. And the next time you go back to it, maybe it isn't as pressing. It isn't as sharp as it was that first time.
Mm-hmm.
I've done that with angry customer service letters too, is sometimes I write it and then say, well, okay, I got that off my chest. I never send it.
Absolutely. And it is any kind of venting, really. You'd be surprised what a good vent will do.
Yeah.
And it's incredible that some people have been taught to apologize. Oh, I'm so sorry. I just had to get that out. I'm so sorry. I'm like, don't be sorry. Like, it's good that you can get all that out of you. Good. Any more left in the tank. Like, bring it all out. And sometimes, to be a great leader, I believe, sometimes all you need to do is just be with someone. And allow them to share whatever it is they need to share and feel whatever it is they need to feel. And it doesn't need fixing. It can sometimes simply need the presence in order to find the natural balance that we will naturally come back to. Resiliency is returning to the neutral, coming back to the neutral position. Emotions don't want you to stay on a high or a low. Sorry.
No, I think that's an excellent point, and it really provides a nice transition as we kind of talk about how you live your personal life with some intent there. When you described your work history, being in the military, doing different things, starting some businesses, pivoting, doing some other businesses, starting coaching, there was a lot of opportunity in there for some self-doubt. I'm sure there were a lot of opportunities in there for that imposter syndrome or what. There's a lot to learn. So how did you deal with this in your own life? And by the way, I'm having a Mike Pence moment because there's a spider on my microphone here. So we'll leave that to internet memes.
That's fine. Have a little thing going on there and be up your face and all kinds of stuff. It'll be fine. Protein. Okay. Yes. The short answer is yes. I've been personally through depression, serious depression, chronic, twice. I've had multiple bouts of anxiety in the past. You asked why particular therapies? Because I needed them. I've personally gone through cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. I've personally done hypnosis as a client and as a patient. I've in the last 2 years, while adding somatic healing and attunement to my repertoire, if you like. I
got the spider. Yeah.
Excellent. You just got to send the bird in to catch the spider, and then somebody has to catch the bird. And so, oh god, this is an odd nursery rhyme. I don't know if you know. So I went through depression. I went through anxiety. I was not going all the way back. I had childhood trauma that I've had to go through and work through. Developmental trauma, very serious around trust, around connection, attunement, just being who I am, being okay with who I am. So that's a lot of what goes into my work, which is far more than I've received from books and courses and the many tutors and mentors that I've had. but it's also coming from personal experience a lot of the time, because I get it. I get, that's why it's especially when you're working with someone with a trust coping mechanism, survival style. It's difficult for them to really gauge when I mean I don't hold judgments when I'm with a client, when I'm with someone, when I'm with a team member or whatever. I will not hold judgments, because what's there to judge? It's simply a practiced pattern or behavior that you in the moment believed was the right thing to do. What's there to judge? And it's very difficult for some people who've had a lifetime of being judged or being betrayed or being neglected or being abused in some cases, to be in a space where there is no judgment and it is just kindness, and it's a space where they can feel like they can grow, and it's okay if they grow the wrong way and then bring themselves back, and then it's okay if they make mistakes in the growth process, because like I say, I've been through it all. When I was studying, I heard once that doctors, before they start their 8-year medical training or whatever it is, long medical training, they have to write down on the first day, I don't know if this is true, but they have to write down all the symptoms that they currently felt, mental, physical, and emotional, at the very beginning, day one, before they know anything. And then as they go through the program at the end, they match the symptoms with whatever they can find. And of course, it's crazy, because you can create all kinds of diseases from basic, tiredness. You need to get some sleep. It doesn't mean that you have, Crohn's disease.
No, that's right. You don't want to look on Dr. Google, right? Yeah,
that's it. But in a similar way, there's a burden of knowledge that once you have, just how bad it can get, and all the different pathways, well, then there can't be any judgment, because you really do see it as simply symptomatic behavior. It's okay. It's not the person. It's the illness of conditioning that someone has contagion has passed to them. Someone has, because everything is given to you. Every belief you have isn't yours. It was given to you at some point, or a situation where you have decided it. And what many people don't realize is you can give that belief back. You don't have to keep it.
Well, what's interesting for me about what you're saying too is, we talked a little bit about how gratitude is sort of an in thing now to be talking about. But one of the other things that I think I've heard from so many people, and I personally believe this as well, is that when you are able to give back, when you are able to help others, it's also a very therapeutic way of helping yourself. And if I'm interpreting some of the things that you're saying, is you didn't just read some books and take some courses and do some things, and then one day you're like, I'm all set. You sort of dove into it and started to practice these things, and that has also been part of your, it's part of your evolutionary journey, right?
Absolutely. You have to know it works. I'll never do or recommend any or endorse any kind of treatment that I haven't myself done myself, or had a friend do it, and I know for a fact that as I've been with them through the process. So no, it's never just a case of just getting the knowledge and spilling it back out and regurgitating it into the client's brain. In fact, a lot of the time when it comes to healing, it's not about giving information. It's really about helping them get rid of information that they've taken on and shouldn't be holding on to.
I love that. And, as we sort of transition to sort of the final segment where we talk about balance, which is really about finding your purpose, finding fulfillment in both your career, your work life, and your personal life. How has all this come together for you today? How are you finding that balance and your own mindset as you sort of take on new challenges, take on the new day?
Yeah. So interestingly, I'm actually 5 weeks into a 5-week program that I'm delivering for about 164 people. And in the group, I asked the question on the first day, which is, in a normal course like this, how do you normally screw yourself up? And be direct, be open, be direct.
Yeah.
And almost every answer comes back the same. Every single answer. And it used to be the same for me as well, which was I take on too much. And in doing that, by taking on too much, and it's interesting you raise the point of helping others to help yourself. Again, the opposite of crazy is still crazy. A lot of people, I've had actually told off in the group privately, but I'm like, you're allowed to help each other in this group, but only after you do the task yourself. Don't be using helping other people as a means to avoid going into this thing for you. And at least 5 of them, thank you. And at least 5 of them put their hand up and was like, yeah, I fell into that trap. Okay, I won't do it anymore.
Well, that's codependence, right? That's really relying on somebody else to try to fix your own problem.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. It's codependence, it's avoidance. I mean, we're hardwired to go towards things that we find simple, easy, and fun. And we're hardwired to avoid things that feel complex, hard, and painful and hurtful. We naturally do that. That's again why you shouldn't, no one should judge somebody for avoiding a failure. Oh, I've got a fear of failure. There's nothing wrong with you. You're okay. What you're really saying is you're hyper aware to threats. Like, that's okay. Right.
So don't some of life's greatest lessons come from failures, not successes? Right?
Absolutely, and we go into that. But first, it's really about understanding it's okay to have a fear of failure. It's okay to have a fear of success. It's okay to have a fear of you not being good enough, blah, blah, blah. All these different things. Because that's simply a vigilance. You're vigilant to being hurt, and that's okay. Like it's really about acknowledging that piece first to build up the level of safety so you can look at the failure as growth. Because if you don't do that, there's no amount of intellectual understanding that will ever give you the power to go through failure and see it as opportunity, because you just don't feel safe. But no, as for balance, big one for me is making sure that I don't overload my plate. I've got myself to the point now. I mean, sometimes you got to work hard and you got to put in the hours in order to get to a certain stage. Mm-hmm. Other times you can do it quite cleverly by creating your life around your business, your life around your career, as opposed to your career around your life and your business. So making it your life blood, your fulfillment, the thing that brings you joy as the center, and having your business connect to it, as opposed to the other way around. People who think in terms of, I'll relax when I've finished the day, very rarely finish the day. They just keep going. So things I've put in place are, for the first hour or two, is all about me. I've got myself to the point where I can do that. First hour or two is all about me. Actually, I tell a lie. The first hour is running after my children and making sure that they are fed, clothed, in school or in nursery and taken care of. Then I make it about me, because there's an element of realism in this as well. I'm not talking about, you got these online experts saying, "Oh, have a 6-hour morning routine." It's like, I got 2 kids, I've got a wife, I've got responsibilities. You get not everyone can do that, and you got to understand that. But as soon as I finish with that, I spend a couple of hours just on me. I work out, I meditate, I do somatic practices to reattune myself. It's just things that have worked for me. And I'm also a very, very big believer in find what works for you as an individual, rather than, just because I start my day with half an hour somatic attunement with meditation, and then do an hour and a half of some kind of fitness or weights training or something like that, doesn't mean that's your balance. Doesn't mean that's going to be your best thing. Absolutely. There is no the answer. It doesn't exist. Yeah. And I think a lot of people lose power and lose empowerment by just thinking that there is, and they go from expert to expert to expert, wondering what the missing piece is. And the truth is, the missing piece is for them to trust themselves and to decide for themselves and take ownership for themselves on what they want. It's a question that not many people really follow through and answer for themselves. So what do they want?
That's a great question to be asking, right? You know, I'm a marketing guy. I host a marketing podcast. And one of the things that I advocate very strongly is, you know, you have to have a plan. You have to know where you're going to go. You have to know what direction, what you're trying to achieve. Otherwise, you can't really build a plan around it. And if you don't know what you want in life, it's very hard to build a plan to achieve it.
Yeah. I mean, I also see people use that as an avoidance mechanism.
Sure.
I'm with you. I'm you know, you can't hit a target you can't see. So have an idea of what you want. But there's also a group of thinking that goes into the realms of, oh, I don't know what I ultimately want, and so until I figure that out, and your mind plays this trick on you to give you the out, to give you the,
Sure.
the let off the hook. Oh yeah, it's okay for you not to do any real committed action because you don't quite know what you want yet, and you don't want to go off in the wrong direction. When actually, if that is somebody listening, then trying a bunch of stuff can be the very best thing you can do, because at least you know, people who create these great businesses and then sell them and don't know what to do with their time, or build their business up to such a level that they now don't know what to do with their time, they don't know what to do with themselves. Because the business has been their center of fulfillment for so long. The answer a lot of times is try different things, see what works for you, and how much it works, in what ways. As I say, there is no the answer, there is no objective answer, there is only individual experience, and nobody can give you that. There's no course, therapy, or technique that's going to give you the answer. It doesn't exist.
But just in case they do want a course or a therapy, I know that you've got some services that you offer. And I think that's actually a really great segue as we talk about it. I'd love for you to share with the audience where they can find out more about you and what you do at Atomic Growth UK in case they want to pick up this conversation, because I think this has been very fascinating.
Absolutely, and thank you. I mean, I don't want to do too much of the pitch side of things, but yes, you can go to atomicgrowth.co.uk. Is the website. You can go check me out on Facebook, both on my profile and on my page, Chris Richards. Or when you search for Atomic Growth, will find me, and I'll make sure Eric gets all of the links. Or you can follow me on Instagram, which is Chris_Richards_official. Those are my main ones.
Hey, Chris, I think that's great. This is powerful stuff, and I just love the way you framed it, because it's part of your own journey as well. And I think what you're teaching and what you're helping people with has come to fruition in your own life. And I think those kind of coaches, those kind of mentors are the best, because they have real world experience that they can back what they're teaching others. So I really appreciate you coming on the show today. And I will make sure that we have all of those links in the show notes so that people can find you. And this has been great. And I still want to know why every time I interview somebody from the UK, it looks nothing like Downton Abbey or Bridgerton. I think we've been sold a bill of goods. I think something's off.
I don't understand. I'm always waiting for explosions and things to go off in the background of American interviews. So I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
Well,
supermodels walking by the back.
Yeah, things could still happen. Chris, thank you so much for your time today. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thank you.